I'm so comfortable living here, I think I'll change my address. What? Oh, that's good. I have an extra room. I was running out of patience with my sister-in-law who had even said such a thing and my husband who spoiled her. I told my husband in desperation, but he would not listen to me at all. Instead, he started banging on the table and yelling at me. I don't want a wife who can't be nice to my relatives. Get out. At this point something snapped inside me. Fine, but you'll regret it, I said, and my husband snickered. That's a funny thing to say. Tell me how I'm going to regret it. My name is Natalie, and I am a 42-year-old office worker. My husband Matthew and I have been married for 12 years. We had a 12-year-old daughter, River, who was born at the same time as our marriage, and we lived happily together as a family. When our daughter started junior high school, my husband and I made a big decision. It was to buy a home. Since I started working, I have devoted myself to my job and saved a lot of money. It had always been one of my dreams to one day build a home. And thanks to my years of hard work, I was finally able to purchase a newly built house worth $800,000. The house, which was purchased in joint ownership with my husband, is a 3-story building with a garden in a prime location near the heart of the city. The thought of starting a new life for us makes me very excited. My husband's family knew that we were going to build a house. Apparently, my husband, who was excited about the purchase, reported it to them. My in-laws told me, "Congratulations. Please let us visit you when the house is finished and you are settled." There was one more person in my in-laws who was happy about my husband and me buying a house. That was my sister-in-law, Katie. Katie came up to us excitedly and asked about our new house. I heard that you are going to build a really gorgeous house. I'm jealous of your 3-story house with a garden. We have 3 small children, so it's really hard for us because it's so small, noisy, and dirty, and we live in an apartment. While mixing in her complaints in this way, Katie listened to our story about our new house with a twinkle in her eye. That's really great. I'm proud of my bother. Ha, right. After all, I am the father here. My husband seemed very happy to hear Katie's praise. My husband and Katie are 5 years apart, and my husband likes his sister a little too much. There have been many times when I have felt that he has spoiled Katie. Come visit me when the house is finished. Yes, I'll bring you a gift. But this kind of exchange makes me smile, like they are close siblings. I'm an only child, so I envy them for having siblings. I wonder if my daughter River is thinking the same thing. I thought so, and when I glanced into her room, she was painting a picture with great concentration, so I didn't think I had to worry about that. Time passed quickly, and finally our home was completed. Even my usually cool daughter was surprised at this moment. This is an amazing house. This is going to be our home from now on. You better make sure you don't make the mistake of going back to the smaller house you've been living in. No, I won't make that mistake. I was so excited that I couldn't help but tease my daughter. Then a car came along. I recognized this car. It was Katie's car. To my surprise, Katie came to our newly built house with her husband and children. Wow, wow. It's a really nice house. My brothers are going to live in such an amazing house. Not only Katie, but also her husband and children were amazed. Isn't it amazing? Have you gained a new respect for your brother? Her husband is beaming, saying something like that. I quickly approach my husband and say in his ear, "Why Katie and the kids are here?" I asked. My husband didn't seem offended. I called them because today is the day we are moving. You could have done that later. Because we want to show off the house in its new condition as much as possible. I was aghast, but I couldn't turn Katie and her family away, so we all entered the new house together. The house was really clean, spacious, and ideal. This is where our family's life is going to start from now on. I was deeply moved, and as I gently closed my eyes and contemplated our life together as a family, I heard loud footsteps and I quickly opened my eyes. Then I saw Katie's children, her oldest and youngest, running around as fast as they could. I was almost giddy. I was almost dizzy. The beautiful flooring was going to get dirty if they ran around like that. Katie's children are quite small, 5, 3, and 2 years old. The oldest and the youngest are at their noisiest, so it's like having 2 dinosaurs in the house. I wish they would be quiet at least today, but that wish was not granted, and now the kids put on their shoes and started to go out in the yard on their own. Why would Katie's children be the first to step into the garden when not even we had entered it yet? Moreover, my husband is smiling at them. He is not only sweet on Katie, but on her kids as well, so I really can't count on him. Soon after, the movers came and moved the stuff out, and the kids were not noisy anymore, but I was all out of it. I was so excited that all I could think about from then on was that Katie and her family would be home soon. "Katie, I have a lot of unpacking to do, so why don't you go home today?" I told Katie and urged her to leave, but she didn't notice at all. "Oh, I don't mind all the cardboard boxes at all. Anyway, let's all have a celebratory dinner together. I'll take delivery then." My husband took advantage of Katie's comment, and what should have been a meal for 3 people ended up having to be ordered for 7, including Katie's oldest and second sons. Since their third son is only 2 years old, we didn't have to order for 1 person, but he still drinks juice and other drinks, so the cost of lunch alone was quite a bit of money. And my husband wanted to show Katie how good he was in front of her. "We'll pay for it." I kept getting frustrated and annoyed. I've been frustrated and bothered for a long time. My daughter, too, seemed to want absolutely nothing to do with my nephews, and after lunch, she quickly went into her room and started to unpack her things. Katie and her husband don't even seem to realize that I find them annoying and are lounging on the couch where I first put it. At least if they are coming on the first day, they should help me unpack. I was exhausted, but my husband and I worked together to unpack. After some progress, it was time to go, so we decided to have dinner. Then my husband made a surprising remark. "Katie and the kids are going to eat dinner, right? I think I'll order a steak." "What?" To my surprise, Katie and her husband were overjoyed without reservation. I was annoyed at Katie, who was jumping up and down on the sofa we had bought for our new house, as if she were too old to be there. Her husband took delivery of steaks for 7 people, and Katie and her family ate them without a care in the world. Of course, my husband made a spectacle of it, so we had to pay for the steaks. And then Katie and her family left, looking satisfied. My husband left the cleanup to me, took a bath, and immediately fell asleep. I whipped my tired body into shape and cleaned up the empty steak containers and other things that were scattered messily on the dining table. I was completely overwhelmed by the unmanageable behavior of Katie and her family. I was so tired of the mess in our new house, and I was so afraid that Katie's children would break things. 2 days later, Katie and her family came to our house again. "Natalie, we are here again." "What?" "I'm a little embarrassed to have you come out of the blue. We just came to have dinner tonight, that's all right. It's a good idea to come over in the first place." "Oh, welcome. Come on up." And he let Katie and her family into the house without permission. The children immediately started running around. This time, they had already unpacked and put some things in the house, including interior decorations, so I was worried that they might break them. Katie and her husband sat down on the sofa and began to relax as if it were their own home. It is really hard for me to prepare food for a large group of people in a hurry, even though I am tired after coming home from work. My husband, however, sits on the sofa with Katie and her children and chats with them without helping me, as if it is a matter of course for me to prepare the food. And Katie's children were running around in the yard and munching on the lawn without her permission. I couldn't concentrate on my cooking. And Katie's kids came into the house with their clothes dirty from playing around in the yard. "Oh, you've got to get rid of the dirt," I shouted. Then Katie's children cried. "Hey, Natalie. What are you making them cry? Hey, Natalie, what are you thinking?" Katie and her husband chastised me all at once. Because the kids tried to come in the house with their clothes dirty. They're kids, they can't help getting dirty. But we just bought this house. Frankly, I can't stand it when Katie and the kids make our house so dirty. I found myself saying what I really thought. But if I didn't say it here, Katie and her friends would be on top of it forever. My husband, however, turned red and started to get angry at my statement. Screw you. Are you treating my sister and her family evilly? I didn't think you were that heartless. You're such a jerk for not taking care of my family. My husband yelled at her like that. Katie and the others folded their arms and gave me cold stares. It's disgusting to make a child cry. What are you going to do if they get traumatized? They said it was my fault and I couldn't win them over in this 3-on-1 situation. I'm sorry I made your child cry. I just got emotional. If this happens again, I will show no mercy. My husband said and glared at me. Now that the kids are scared, we're going out to eat. With that, my husband left the house, taking Katie and her family with him. Why should I be more nervous than at work? Mom, are you okay? My daughter, who was upstairs in her room, came downstairs, worried that she heard her dad's angry voice. Oh, I'm sorry. I know it was loud. No, don't worry about it. But anyway, my father's sister and her family, did they come again? Yes, they are. Will they be coming back in the future? I'll make sure they don't worry. Yes. Even my daughter is starting to have problems with Katie and her family, which is a problem. I want my husband to do something about it, but he dotes on Katie. So he won't listen to me. But I can't just let the Katies go on their way. The next day, Katie and her family came again. And this time, they were carrying a big baggage. What is it? What's with the luggage? I asked her, and she looked at me coldly. Katie looked at me with cold eyes and said, "That's none of your business." Since the incident yesterday, when I scolded the children, Katie has been giving me the cold shoulder. She also started to use me as a jawbreaker. Natalie, I need more booze. You drink too much. Besides, we're out of booze. What? You should have more on hand. Go get some now. And so did my husband. That's right. Go buy some. He ordered me. I had no choice but to go buy. My daughter didn't want to stay home in this condition either, so she followed me to the supermarket. However, when we came back home after shopping, we were astonished to see the house. Katie's children had taken the liberty of painting on the walls. Hey, what's this? I said to my husband. You can see it, I'm letting them paint. He said as if it were a matter of course. Then my daughter shouted out. Why are you using my painting tools? My eyes widened when I heard her words. Wait, what do you mean? I questioned my husband, and he looked annoyed. Oh, shut up. They said they didn't have any painting supplies, so I lent them Rivers. Awful. My daughter looked at the tattered painting tools and burst into tears. Then Katie made a surprising remark. I'm already so comfortable here, I think I'll change my address. Huh? Oh, that's good. I have an extra room. I was losing my patience with Katie and her husband who spoiled her. What are you talking about? You can't live with us. And I'm not finished yet. How dare you lend them Rivers painting tools without permission? I'm not going to let you put your sister ahead of me. I told my husband in desperation, but he would not listen to me at all. Instead, he started banging on the table and yelling at me. I don't want a wife who can't be nice to my relatives. Get out. At this point, something snapped inside me. I can't put up with this kind of husband anymore, nor with Katie and her family, who have no common sense. I want to take care of my daughter first. At this time, I made a decision to leave my husband. Fine, but you will regret it. When I said this, my husband snickered. That's a funny thing to say. Tell me how I'm going to regret it. I didn't answer him, but began to pack my bags. River, let's leave. What? We'll be unhappy if we stay in this house any longer, I said, and my daughter seemed to have made up her mind. Yeah, okay. My daughter and I both packed our bags and started getting ready to leave the house. My husband seemed to think we were pretending to leave the house and was smirking and drinking. Do you guys have any destination to go to when you leave this house? And Katie laughed at us too. What? If you and your sisters are leaving, we can live here. Well, go ahead. You should move in. Katie's eyes widened. What? I'm really moving in, she retorted. We're really moving out, so it doesn't matter. Why don't you just cancel your small apartment and come here? You said it. You can't go back to the way things were. Even if you guys want to go back, we're living here, Katie said, and her husband nodded strongly. I can't do it with you anymore either. I'm going to get a divorce and live a good life with Katie and her family in this house. My husband said that, and I decided to file for divorce and change the name of the house before he changed his mind. My husband grinned. You're a fool, too. You're going to lose everything because of your weird stubbornness. I ignored him and promptly completed all the formalities. For now, I stayed with my daughter at my own parents' house and then immediately signed a lease for an apartment large enough for the two of us. We were able to rent an affordable and livable room, and both my daughter and I are comfortable in it. Surprisingly, we realized that we did not need a big house. So my daughter and I were living a peaceful life when one day I received several phone calls from my husband. Perhaps he had run into a problem I had anticipated. Oh, hey. What do you mean? How come the mortgage is so high? Of course it is. That house cost $800,000. There's no way you could afford it on my own with your low salary. What? We got approved on our salary, didn't you? It was in our joint name, that's why it was approved. Maybe you didn't know this, but I got a promotion and now I'm paid twice as much as you. Oh, no. That's not true. So you were taking on more than your share of the loan. What are you talking about? You didn't kick us out before the loan payments started. I made the down payment out of money we saved together in a shared account a long time ago, and I myself am paying very little of it. Oh, no. My husband finally seemed to understand the situation. Please. I'm sorry, please come back. I'm sorry. He apologized, but it was too late. You put your sister before me and River. I have no intention of getting back together with you. Oh, no. I've already canceled the apartment that Katie and her family were living in, and they've moved in and are living with us. We have a lot of kids, so food costs are ridiculous, and besides, Katie and her family don't do any housework. The house is so dirty that it doesn't even look like a new house anymore. We can't even sell the house like this. But you said it's okay for kids to get dirty. You said it's okay for the kids to make a mess. I am already divorced from you and my daughter doesn't want to see you anymore. So I'll see you later. Oh, hey. I said that and hung up the phone and blocked the call. After that, my ex-husband eventually decided to give up the house. However, because the Katie family was too dirty, the house sold for less than half of the purchase price, and the ex-husband was left with nearly $400,000 in debt. Katie and her family lost their house, and Katie's husband quit his job, so the apartment they were able to rent is even smaller than before, and they are living the most cramped lives they have ever had. Incidentally, Katie and my ex-husband are unable to rely on their own parents because their parents came to visit their new house and found out everything about the situation and were dismayed and disowned by them. It is a really nice feeling that my ex-husband lost everything and even took on a lot of debt. Meanwhile, I am living a modest, calm and peaceful life with my daughter. My daughter wants to enter an art college in the future, so I will work hard and save money so that she can try any college. Thank you for watching. How did you like today's story? Please subscribe to our channel. See you in the next story.